Hey guys, today I've got another story about Craig Breedlove. It's not about Craig's land speed record specifically. It's a spin-off story that I bet you've never heard before about how Craig played an important role in the evolution of the drag racing tire, of the drag slick, and about his business experience, his learning experience, shall we say, with Carroll Shelby. That's coming up. Before we get going though, don't forget to subscribe. Here's Bella with his reminder.
Pull the string! Pull the string!
Okay, let's roll. Okay, so it's early 1964. Craig broke the land speed record the previous year in August 1963, 407 miles per hour, and he's riding high. He's done his promotional tour of the country for Shell and Goodyear. He did the UK, went to Australia, and finally he's back home in LA. And the next Bonneville season, starting August 1964, is maybe 6 months away. So Craig has 6 months and full backing from Shell and Goodyear to do whatever the heck he wants. So he decides to build a cutting-edge dragster, a super aerodynamic dragster, totally enclosed cockpit, wheel pants, the whole deal. A totally new kind of streamlined dragster that's going to totally revolutionize drag racing. That's his plan. And here's the dragster. Craig called it Spirit 2. Remember, this is 1964. It looks revolutionary, right? I mean, Craig had high hopes for this thing, but it turned out to be kind of a disappointment. It wasn't all that fast when he tried it out on the drag strips and started actually competing. A big problem it had was that it was using these brand new drag tires that Goodyear had developed. Back then, the drag tire business was dominated by M&H Race Masters, and Goodyear wants in. So it has these new tires it's just developed, and it gives them to Craig to put on his car. I mean, Goodyear's sponsoring the car, so Craig has to use their tires. He's going to give them their first real test in competition. Goodyear's first drag tires, the very first batch. And you know what? They sucked. Goodyear didn't have the compound down right yet or something, because these tires, they're way too slick. For Craig, it's like driving on grease. So that's it for Spirit 2. The 1964 Bonneville season rolls around. Craig gets into his land speed battle with Art Arfons, and the dragster goes into storage, and it's forgotten. Now, fast forward 2 years or so. It's 1966, around there. Craig has his 600 mile per hour record. Art Arfons is out of the game. Land speed competition has dried up, and Craig is looking around for other things to do. He's down in the Bahamas, invited by Goodyear to attend a racing event down there, Bahamas Speed Week. And he goes out to dinner with some guys. The director of Goodyear's racing tire division is there, Tony Webner. And so is Carroll Shelby. Now Shelby, he's the distributor for Goodyear tires on the West Coast. And Goodyear, it's adding drag tires to its inventory, those same greasy drag tires that had performed so poorly on Craig's Spirit 2 dragster. Shelby is going to have to start handling these tires, and he doesn't want to. He's complaining about it. He's sitting across the table from Craig, saying that these drag tires are a pain in the ass. He doesn't want to be bothered with them. Here's Craig to tell the rest of the story.
we developed the whole drag program for Goodyear, and because those tires were so bad, we made a deal with Shelby. Shelby didn't want to handle the drag tires. He thought that all hot rodders were from the gutter someplace. So if it wasn't going on a sport car or something, for the Cobras or whatever, he didn't have much interest in it. And we were down in Nassau for an event for Goodyear, and we all were out at dinner, and he was telling Tony Webner, who was then director of racing, he was saying, "No, I don't know why you guys are going into that drag racing stuff. I don't want to handle those drag racing tires, those drag racing people." And he was going on, He had just told the waiter that Matus wine tasted like horse piss. Anyway, so I said, "Well, Carroll, I'd love to handle the drag tires." And I said maybe, I know there's a 30% markup. I said, "You let me handle the drag tires and you don't have to do nothing, and I'll send you 10% of every drag tire we sell." And he said, and he thought that was a great idea. And so Nye Frank and I just developed the whole contouring. We work with two of the Goodyear engineers to get those drag tires working, and we actually brought them to the technical level of quality that we took over the whole drag racing industry with the Goodyear tires.
Let me just jump in here and add that George Class was also involved in the business. It was basically Craig, Nye Frank, and George Class. Okay, back to Craig for the rest of the story.
And then what happened was Carroll, all of a sudden, we were selling hundreds of those tires, per month and stuff, and to the top cars all over the place. And we were doing actually research work on it, on various durometer hardnesses of rubber and everything else. And we were coating them with a little round dot, so we knew which tire was which on whose car and which compound it had in the tire and stuff. And Shelby wanted the whole thing back because it was a gold mine. And so he told Goodyear he wouldn't talk to me. He dissolved, and he told Tony Webner he wanted the drag tires back. That he was the distributor, and the tires by contract had to go through him. They couldn't send them directly to me. And of course, what that meant is if the tires got shipped directly to Shelby from Goodyear, I'd never see one. Okay. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
And he put me out of business. And all of the money and all of the effort that a year's work, and you can't believe all the effort. And we had a whole truck set up to go to the drag races and do all of the servicing on the tires and help the guys, and we went to all the major meets and stuff, and we just had to shut it down. Yeah. It put me out of business. Carroll was kind of notorious for that. He was a sharp business guy, and he was a tough guy too. And he would take advantage of any situation, and that's how he built his empire. So,
okay.
We were younger and naive. We learned a lot. He taught me a lot.
So that's the story. That's how Craig Breedlove played a big role in improving Goodyear's drag tires and helping them dominate the drag tire business, only to lose it all to Carroll Shelby. I'm Sam Hawley. See you next time.